If you're looking for more horror outside of the mainstream, look no further than Unsung Horrors, a podcast about underseen horror movies. I'm Lance.
And I'm Erica. Every other week, we'll cover a horror movie with fewer than 1,000 views on Letterboxd. We'll even give you double feature recommendations to pair with the movies we discuss.
From gothic to shot on video, from slashers to comedies, from giallo to J-horror, we'll cover all the subgenres. So join us as we unearth these hidden gems of horror.
Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, all at Unsung Horrors, available wherever you listen to podcasts. And part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Hello, my name is Kevin Tudor, and I'm one of the three hosts of Almost Major, a film podcast dissecting many major indie studios and the films they release. Every week, myself, Charlie Nash, and Bryden Doyle discuss overlooked, forgotten, or bona fide classic indie films via studio-specific miniseries. We've previously covered numerous films from Artisan Entertainment, Lionsgate Films, and New Line Cinema. Titles including The Blair Witch Project, American Psycho, Dogville, But I'm a Cheerleader, Saw, Requiem for a Dream, and Ringmaster, you know, the Jerry Springer film. Anyways, we have a fun time every week and we hope you will join us. Subscribe to Almost Major wherever you get your podcasts. Now proudly a part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Hi there, I'm Chris Dashew.
I'm Mike White.
And this is Father Malone.
And we're the hosts of Dreams for Sale, a once a month. I'll just drop all the H's.
So far off to a terrible start.
Yeah, today's been great as it is. Okay. We are the hosts of Dreams for Sale,
Leave it all in.
We are the hosts of Dreams for Sale, a once a month look at the Twilight Zone 1985, otherwise known as the best version of the show that isn't the original, though Father Malone would say the 2000s is pretty good, but you know.
No, that's the best.
Oh, Forrest Whitaker.
Forrest Whitaker. Oh my God.
He just makes it.
That guy's effortless.
I mean, he is, but he's not in the show.
He
enough to
actually
matter.
is, yeah.
But on this episode of Dreams for Sale, we're going to be taking a look at the third and fourth episodes of the third season of the show, otherwise known as the Downhill Run. That is the finale of this show, the third season. We're going to be taking a look at two episodes, The Crossing and The Hunters.
There dwells within this parish a modern-day apostle and master builder who lists among his tools of trade a Bible, a rosary, and a calculator. His name, Father Mark Cassidy. Age, 42. A fair and noble man who's about to discover one of his accounts is still open. That account is labeled Guilt, and it's concealed in a ledger stored in the Twilight Zone.
So both of these episodes are directed by Paul Lynch. The Crossing is written by Ralph Phillips. It stars Ted Shackelford as a priest, a father, who something happened. Do we know? Look, these episodes that we're talking about, this episode and the next episode, I think we're going to have a lot of questions about what was going on in these episodes because all of a sudden the show decided that we don't need to know what's going on anymore. At least not in a way that any of us could talk about. So I guess this father is haunted by something that happened to him in his past, and that haunting is manifesting itself in his daily life, right?
Yes.
Sure. It seems so weird because if the stuff happened already, you would think he would be like, why is this happening again? Because he just seems so surprised when it happens.
Right.
This car being on fire. But then he's in the confessional confessing to anybody. Is there anybody in the other booth talking about how he couldn't have saved her? Why was I the one that was thrown from the car? But then at the end, she's alive and he's dead. Did God
was she alive?
Rectify the situation? She's the one that put the flower on the casket.
I just assumed that she's like a vision.
A ghost.
A ghoulie. Who the fuck knows? This episode just exists in this weird realm of nothing matters, there are no rules, and we'll do whatever we want.
Yeah, I just wrote down, this is one of the worst I've seen at all. Like, there are absolutely no stakes. There's no drama. It's just a slow progression to figure out this thing that already happened that the lead character already knows about. Like, what is the point of this?
And then he does
And
what
then-
at the end?
And and his solution is to like go get in the ghost car with her and then take her place, I assume, which, by the way, for Catholics, that's suicide. So Father Mark is burning in hell.
But it's not suicide because he didn't drive the car.
But if he was a father,
No, he knew what was going to happen.
No, but he wasn't driving the car, dude.
But
That's
he knew that car
you
was gonna
have to
crash and die and
actively
got
kill
in.
yourself to go to hell.
No,
Right.
that's not. That's like saying, well, I didn't kill myself. It was the ground after I stepped off that ledge.
well,
I just assume that's how all Catholics justify it.
yeah. I mean, if he was black, he could have just gotten shot by a policeman.
Yeah. He could have waved to a cop.
Right.
Yeah.
Was he married to this woman? Was he a priest at the time? And like,
It looked that way from the photos, didn't it?
Hey, Mike,
Yeah.
I'm not sure we could answer that question either. I mean, the episode gives us, it is so strange to me. This is a 23-minute episode. It gives us nothing.
Yeah.
Like, it is,
but yet
it is
it takes
shocking.
so long to get there.
Well,
It's
yeah,
just-
well, those are the best kinds of stories. They give you nothing and they take forever to get there.
Oh my God. Yeah.
It must
I
be
don't
tough for
care
Kelly.
about the hospital wing.
We spend a lot of time on fundraising in this episode.
Yeah.
Well, that's
know about-
important. It's
and-
important. That's what people who watch Twilight Zone are into. Fundraising.
Yeah, and is it like, I guess we're supposed to believe that like he like feels so guilty about his friend dying that that's what's driving him and, you know, forcing him on, but like it doesn't seem like there's anything really deleterious going on other than he's remembering something that already happened.
Yeah.
Comment on that, Chris.
Well, I don't know. What I don't understand is what's the point of showing us something that's already happened when it happens again at the end and it's not given any context as to why it happened the first time, who it happened to the first time, and why the father is seemingly on the hook for what happened. That's what I
Yeah.
don't understand.
He
Why?
got thrown from the car, right? That's what
Right.
we're supposed to. So
I guess.
I mean, is it
Do
survivor's
they
guilt
say?
is the idea here? And if that's the case, if this is an examination of survivor's guilt, the way to cure that is to kill yourself, I guess.
According to the Twilight Zone.
He's doing good deeds, raising $2 million to build this hospital wing, but he just feels so guilty about this thing in his past. And it's just like, maybe you should have some therapy.
I personally think that this is the obvious, clear prequel to Fraggle Rock because you have Gerard Parks who plays Monsignor Perrault. So what happens is Ted Shackelford kills himself. He retires from the Catholicism and he goes and opens a store, changes his name to Doc, and then you have Fraggle Rock.
Oh, he buys a dog.
Yeah, and then
I'll go you one better. He loses his mind over the sudden disappearance of Father Mark, who ends up dead, and the reappearance of a woman from years ago, and then imagines Fraggle Rock happening in his shop.
But does he ever actually laugh the cares away, or does he just imagine that he's doing it?
Is Marjorie the trash heap? Does she live in his yard?
Oh yeah, the trash. No.
I don't think so, because they have to go through Fraggle Rock, and then they end up in some outside some other area.
Okay.
I just want to point out that the fact that the three of us grown-ass adults are talking about Fraggle Rock as seriously as we are, I think is much more important than anything that this episode does.
Yeah, you know, I tried to think of a way that this episode was a success, and the only way I could figure is if the creators of this episode were attempting to make me feel like I was actually in the Twilight Zone, that this is the best that the Twilight Zone had to offer, then yeehaw, you guys win. Otherwise, what in the hell? It's like, it's even more offensive than the sort of overtly maudlin and schmaltzy episodes we've gotten before, because at least those had something to say. I don't know what this was about. Also, so Ghosty Kelly comes back from the dead at the end, and then it must be tough to get a driver's license after you've been legally pronounced dead, right? And then you just reappear.
So I wonder, between the three of us, since our opinions are kind of the only ones that matter at this point, except for mine, obviously, I am curious, where do we come down on this episode? Is she a ghost? Does it matter? has the episode given us enough information to make that assessment? Because honestly, I think I fall into the latter. I don't know, because the episode doesn't even know what the fuck it's going for.
It feels like to me that history was undone and now he's the one that died. But then that, again, it undoes all of the shit that he was working on, the raising of all that money for this hospital wing. It's just like, okay, you're undoing all of your good deeds because you feel so guilty about this. And now you're, like you said, committing suicide by replacing yourself with, and now she's alive. Okay. That's what it feels like to me, is that he is rewriting history.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only way it makes any sense at all. If we've now traveled back in time to the point of the accident, and then this is his funeral, and she did not die, because otherwise it's a clusterfuck of a fucking episode. It's a clusterfuck anyway, but at least it makes more sense with that ending.
And for me, the thing I ultimately don't get is, why do you want to have it both ways at the end? Why can't you just make a determination on which one it is? Because honestly, it doesn't affect the story. Actually, it would probably make, if they came down on either side, it would probably make the story make even less sense, frankly. Because then they are taking a side. So with their kind of ambiguous interpretation or ambiguous presentation here, it makes very little sense, but it could make even less sense if she was a ghost or she wasn't. So we're just left here kind of wondering. I don't even know what the story was. What was the point? If it's a story about survivor's guilt, that's nope.
Yeah, I don't.
Kill yourself, survivor.
Once again, we're bringing more to this story than the story brought to us. Like,
100%.
Yeah. That's because we actually can understand that it's not a good story. What's strange to me is how anyone who worked on this, filmed it, did anything else, said, yes, this is a full story. Because I don't think they did.
Approved.
At this, yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I thought of that too. Like, there has to be like a writer's room of some kind here. And J. Michael Straczynski is the story editor, and he had worked in the previous 2 seasons, at least as sort of a junior writer. So somebody had to come up and pitch this idea to him, and he said, yes, go do that. And then they turned in this script and they went, yes, and then they mounted a whole production. At what point does anyone go, what does this mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's crazy when mediocrity sort of gets funneled through the system to me. I don't know. Well,
and it's crazy that this was on, an actual television station, and actual actors are involved.
Well, I want to say too that it looks so fucking cheap.
Yeah. It's like the cheapest looking episode of this show we've seen. It's bizarre.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing about that is it's like they're like doing location filming. Like that's,
right.
They were in some house and then they were outside. And for some reason, like earlier episodes, which I've, called out because it's so set bound, like at least they were enlivened in some way. Now, I actually wanted to say this about the next episode, but it's true with this. The same guy, not directed, but edited this episode and the next episode we're going to talk about. The pace is so crazily glacial.
Yeah.
Like in between things, just nothing is happening. The camera takes forever. It's just like on and on and on. And the other thing I noticed, and this is true of like this entire season, it seems unless people are talking, we have sound, or if like some event has happened, a crash or something like that, we have sound. Otherwise, it's dead silent.
Yeah.
Like not even incidental music. It's just like, it feels weird. It feels like a community play or something.
Yeah, it reminded me of like stuff I would have seen on the early days of Nickelodeon when they couldn't afford programming and they just bought like weird shit from England. And I'm like, okay, sure.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I'm done.
This feels like the Twilight Zone's response to the 7th season of Tales from the Crypt. Let's just spin our wheels because nobody cares anyways. Like,
yeah.
I mean, we ran into it in Tales from the Crypt. They literally just shit out a 7th season and said, you dumb fans will just eat it up because you're stupid. And that's what this feels like. It's like this, you will eat this up because we think you're dumb. And it's like, no, the Twilight Zone brand holds too much importance to be treated like this. It really does. It's an important part of like American pop culture, especially when it comes to television and the way television anthologies are told now. And the fact that this is the best you can put forward on a show with the pedigree of the Twilight Zone is really disappointing for a number of reasons, namely the fact that this is the same show that had Shatterday as its first episode. Like, wow.
Yes.
Wow. So speaking of that, let's talk about the next episode, The Hunters.
Oh, I think you mean Still Life from season 1.
Right. Jesus.
A beautiful summer day, full of adventure for a young boy. On the surface, a field like any other, soon to be covered with neatly arranged family homes. But today, this curious boy is about to discover a terrifying secret that could only be shared within the confines of the Twilight Zone.
Oh, boy, isn't that the case?
Oh, well, instead of a camera, we found these cave paintings. And we're going to take forever to get to anything. Again, it just takes
forever.
So long for them to get to things. What a waste of Louise Fletcher, you know?
I was under the impression that when that kid fell down into that hole, all of a sudden Mulder and Scully were going to look down there and be like, is that where the aliens are? That's what it looked like. That is straight up, that entire set looked like a scaled down version of the X-Files Fight the Future set where Lucas Black falls into that alien pit. And yet this episode, what does it do? Like you mentioned, Mike, nothing. Absolutely nothing. It does so little that it's a 5-minute episode stretched out to 20 minutes. It's butt fucking insane. My tolerance with this show all of a sudden has skyrocketed into nowhere because I don't want this show to go the way that it's going, and watching it do it is so disappointing. Like, just massively disappointing.
Now, the frightening thing about this particular season is I want to kind of let the entire series off the hook and say, well, the third season was just a cash grab and thrown together. But the fact remains that they cut season 2 in half and shuffled half of those episodes into this season so that they would have a season to sort of get us to syndication. So a good number of these we were going to get as legitimate shot in the US with American talent instead of this cheap Canadian knockoff. Now, I do want to see some good things in this episode. First and foremost, it's Leslie Carlson is Jim, the sort of the real estate developer guy,
right,
who was in Black Christmas as the operator trying to figure out where in the house or where the calls are coming from. And then he was in A Christmas Story. He was trying to sell them the tree. I like that guy, so I was happy to see him. The other thing is, I didn't think in my lifetime I would ever see Louise Fletcher stabbed to death with a caveman spear. So there's that.
Well, you've seen it now, haven't you?
That's what you get for causing Billy Babbitt to commit suicide.
So,
about time.
So I didn't okay, so explain to me, like I'm 5, exactly what happened. They find a cave underground with cave paintings, and the cave paintings are somehow living cavemen who come to life when no one is around?
No.
Yeah.
No. I think that particular spot was a bridge, like a time machine type portal between their world and ours. And the cave paintings were changing because they were doing different things now, because now there was this new a time that they were sort of running into. That's what I got. And I got that from the very well thought out and delivered line. This looks like a spiritual doorway, which is naturally the first thing anyone would think when they look at a, several million-year-old cave painting. I think it's a doorway.
I'm glad, Mike, that you and I both misinterpreted the episode together, because I'm glad to know that it wasn't just me who had no idea what the fuck was going on.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of more under the impression that it was that they could escape from the paintings and do their mischief when they needed to. And then it kind of reminded me of, like, what was that? The mischief map where you could see, like, where Professor McGonagall and stuff.
Oh, mischief
were.
Managed. Yeah. What is that called?
The Marauders map.
Marauders map.
Yeah.
They say you have an awfully big nose. Isn't that what the thing says at one point? Come on, you guys have seen Harry Potter. That's what he says. It's like,
that.
Professor Snape, it says that you have an awfully big nose. And he's like, and then David Thewlis comes in. He's like, what's up, guys? I'm in this movie, remember? No? Okay. Well, Harry Potter's dumb, so never mind.
I like the first two.
Yeah, well.
The ones that people didn't like.
I liked the second one a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
When it came to the third one, I was just like, wow, this kind of sucks.
It's awfully dark for a children's film. It's what's sad about this episode is twofold. A, obviously, Louise Fletcher, great actress, wasted, criminally wasted. Other than taking a spear through the back, which to me, Father Malone, is similar to when David Warner had a dummy thrown at him on a stairwell. It's like, I never thought I would see this, but yet here we are. Someone chucking. Oh, yeah. So, Mike, there's in an episode of Tales from the Crypt, David Warner is walking up a staircase, a rather narrow, pretty steep staircase, and someone just takes a dummy body and fucking hurls it at him, and he eats shit backwards down the stairs. It is glorious. This is the equivalent of that. Unfortunately, similarly to that episode, Louise Fletcher is wasted here. And the other thing is, again, it's another 23-minute episode that does nothing. Like, the story that it's telling could have taken 5 minutes.
We look back at like the earlier 2 seasons when they would do like a 10 or 15 minute like quick snippet, sometimes only 8 minutes, and I look back at those and go, God, I could have dealt with a half hour of that. Yeah, like these are just like the one note punchlines. It's like there's nothing to them. It's just like, obviously whoever wrote this was obsessed with those cave paintings in France and was like, I want to write a story about that. Like, the cave paintings come to life. Like, okay, cool. And where do we go? Could have been
cool. It could have been cool.
Absolutely. But you know what? The last one, the priest one, could have been cool if they had anything at all to say. So
yeah,
I feel like that's a harder uphill battle than this one. This one, you could have like all sorts of wacky shit going on. Like I
think in the last one, if they had in any way touched on the stuff that we brought up, like these sort of moral quandary about this priest maybe committing suicide, like that could have been something. But here it's just, flight of fancy. Like when I was a kid, I saw cave paintings and I always wanted them to come to life. I'll write that.
It's very strange. We've gone from the show taking a simple idea and really blowing it up into something exciting and grand. And now the show has gone to taking an interesting idea and just like trying to do nothing else but use the idea as the entire jumping point. And it's like, you guys have to do more than just punch us in the head with the idea over and over again. So telling us about the cave paintings, tell us something more, please.
Anything.
And literally anything. Anything would suffice other than nothing. It's very strange. I'm disappointed by where the show is going. I am. It's weird that the third season is taking this big of just a nosedive.
Yeah. Well, it's not that unusual for a television series, but certainly when you have something as varied as an anthology series, like there ought to be some highlights.
You would think.
Maybe they're coming up.
Whoa.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, keep crossing them. Cut back to Father Malone 5 years later, and his fingers are crossed and he's skeleton. Just, I'm still waiting.
Yeah, but the bones are still.
Yeah, the bones are still crossed.
Still crossed.
Still waiting. We done with this one?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So with these 2 episodes out of the way, on the next episode of Dreams for Sale, we'll be taking a look at the 5th and 6th episodes of the 3rd season. Those 2 episodes are aptly titled Dream Me a Life and Memories. So until then, it's going to be good. Dream me a good episode. Until then, where can people find you, Father Malone, when you're not here?
You can find me at fathermalone.com. I've got links to all my stuff there, but I do have a half-hour audio drama that I put out basically once a month called Dark Destinations. You can check me out there, and, well, that's it.
According to someone that I pointed at your podcast on the internet, they said, I loved the first episode, couldn't get into anything else. My response was, sorry?
About my thing?
Yeah, I pump your show when I can, man. Come on. It's not our job.
Well, you know what? Yeah, fuck that person.
Well, you said it, not me. So there you go.
Yeah. Don't listen anymore. I don't want your downloads.
Take it back, your one. Take your one back. Here you go.
Yeah, man.
What about you, Mike White? What's going on at the Projection Booth podcast?
Well, as I have no idea when this episode is coming out, we are covering movies every week. We talk about movies, and that's what we do. And you can hear us talk about movies at projectionboothpodcast.com.
I really set you up for failure with that one, huh?
It's okay.
That's my bad.
Who knows what we're going to be?
Who knows when this will come out?
Feels like we're like a year and a half ahead right now.
I feel like we might be rather far ahead. I do not, but this may be coming out at Christmas time. So, I don't know. As for me, you can find me on Twitter at Christmas Claus. I do the Culture Cast. It's where I talk about movies once a week. That's it. As for this podcast, Dreams for Sale, Twilight Zone 85 on the internet, Dreams for Sale on Twitter. And big thanks as always to Roxy Drive and Neutron Dreams for the intro outro music for the podcast. We'll catch you on the next episode.